persuasive.
How many types?
There are 4 types.
Hmm.
First one is persuasive, second narrative, third
First one is expository style.
Okay, ma'am. Persuasive.
Second is narrative style, जिसमें story लिखा जा सकता है.
Short story, novel.
हाँ. तो any story which you can write. तो the styles of writing तो पहले आप elaborate कीजिएगा कितने styles of writing. तो बताइए कितने styles of writing है? How many styles of writing are there?
There are 4.
Expository, narrative, persuasive and descriptive.
Descriptive.
तो in story writing कौन सा writing style use होता है पहले बताओ. Narrative story का guidelines क्या क्या रहता है?
वही मैम गाइडलाइंस ही जानना था.
गाइडलाइंस ही जानना है. मैंने तो बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आपको समझा दिया था कि क्या है राइटिंग स्टाइल. Let me see the file. Let me see. Wait, just hold on. Narrative style has always got some characters, some stories, some plot. तुम बताओ किसी कहानी में क्या क्या होता है?
मैम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्लॉट, कैरेक्टर. एक प्लॉट होता है और कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं जिनके बीच में स्टोरी कुछ चलती है.
प्लॉट होता है, कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं, थीम्स होता है, डायलॉग्स होता है, तो प्रॉब्लम्स होता है, सॉल्यूशंस होता है. In any kind of writing style, whatever you're writing.
In exam, there is a question to write a ma'am, they asked to write a short story.
But I'm just looking for that file. So I'll explain again. What are the skills required?
How should I start a short story?
Yeah. So first of all, you will write. There are 4 types of writing styles: the narrative, the expository, the narrative, the descriptive, the argumentative. Expository, narrative, persuasive, and descriptive. When you are asked to write a story, what will be the checklist? So when you're telling a story, it should have a beginning. It means I have included a hook to grab the reader's attention. It means the topic of the beginning of the story, the topic of the story. What is the name of the story? It should grab the attention of the reader. So supposing आपको लिखना है story, so what will be your story about? What will be the story about? The lost man, the beggar, and the rich friend. मतलब कुछ ऐसा होना चाहिए जो कि वी ओनली लिव वंस, जिंदगी में एक ही बार जीने का मौका मिलता है। तो आपका जो बिगिनिंग होना चाहिए ना, you have to hook the audience attention. It means your title should be interesting. Then you will describe the setting. For example, उज्ज्वल आपने पूछा था ना, आप बताइए आपके स्टोरी का नाम क्या रहेगा? इतना मशरूम महक क्यों रहा है? Tell me the name of the story. बताओ.
Rabbit and turtle race.
What you are discussing on YouTube live? हाँ यार उज्ज्वल,
Some rabbit and turtle race.
क्या तू BCA का स्टूडेंट बोल रहा है कि रैबिट एंड टर्टल का कहानी रहेगा? कोई भी तुम्हारी कहानी नहीं पढ़ने वाला है।
मैम एग्जाम में यही लिखे।
ये लिखोगे?
नो मैम, एग्जाम में यही लिखे। समझ में नहीं आया स्टोरी क्या।
एग्जाम में यही लिखे हैं? अभी एग्जाम हुआ कहाँ है? रैबिट एंड टर्टल का स्टोरी क्या होता है? आप KG1 में है क्या? Somebody please suggest a name of the story. ठीक है, आप ही की कहानी रैबिट एंड टर्टल। फाइन। डिस्क्राइब द सेटिंग। ये कहाँ का रैबिट है, कहाँ है, कौन सा कलर है, कहाँ पर है, ये कहानी कहाँ घटित हो रही है? व्हाट इज द सेटिंग उज्ज्वल?
ओके मैम।
मतलब ये कहानी कहाँ की है? इंडिया की है, अब्रॉड की है, चाइना की है, कहाँ की है? डिस्क्राइब योर सेटिंग।
There is a jungle named Sundarban.
व्हाटएवर। तो सेटिंग को डिस्क्राइब करना, और फिर यू इंट्रोड्यूस द, ये देन इंट्रोड्यूस द कैरेक्टर।
Where are rabbit and turtle live.
There are rabbits, मतलब एक से अधिक हैं या एक है या बहुत सारे हैं? 5 rabbits, whatever.
Ma'am, should I suggest a topic?
हाँ बोलो, ये बड़ा हमको लग रहा है रैबिट एंड
Ma'am, अंधेर नगरी चौपट राजा.
Your exam is in English, no? What is the English of Andher Nagri Chaupat Raja?
The full king and the ma'am, what should I say? The full the people are foolish and the king is also fool.
Okay. Now what you will do? Whatever your story is, describe कर दीजिए कि setting कहाँ का है, उसमें कहाँ हो रहा है। जैसे बोला सुंदरवन में हो रहा है, तो ठीक है। Whatever is happening there.
Ma'am, but I have a question.
हाँ yeah.
It's important to give a topic name in English. Why we can't give in Hindi? Sometimes to attract people, we should give in Hindi.
No. People do not understand Hindi, so you have to speak English. No, it's business English exam है। क्या तमाशा तुम कर रहे हो?
But ma'am, when we do business in our country, then they know Hindi. Of course, they know Hindi.
Oh, shut up! The exam is of English. So your मैंने आपको suggest किया था, the lonely, the beggar and the rich man.
Okay,
alone on an island. We only live once. तो इस तरह का दीजिए, then you grab the attention कि पता नहीं कहानी में क्या होगा. The lonely island, whatever. तो choose a very nice topic ताकि लोग जानने पर उत्सुक हो जाए. We should elicit a curiosity, and the response should be yes. What might be the story? क्या हुआ होगा उसके साथ, right? So we only live once. Once is not being happy in life is once is not enough. Being happy once is not enough. तो इस तरह की जो हम बता रहे हैं, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट होना चाहिए कुछ आपका जो टॉपिक होता है. so that you can grab the attention of the reader. Otherwise, Ujjwal, nobody is interested to read your hair and tortoise story, because everybody has read that story. we all know that story. Okay. So narrative writing में क्या होता है? There has to be a title. You have to introduce the setting and you have to introduce the characters, right? उसके बाद हाँ ये अंधेर नगरी चौपट राजा. Anyways, तो उसमें characters कौन कौन है बताना पड़ेगा. Setting क्या क्या है? Setting के बाद the middle. This is the beginning part. ठीक है. Characters का introduction सब middle part beginning होता है. Middle में क्या होता है? You have to create 5 senses. What did they see? What did they hear? What did they do? What did they feel? क्या हुआ था? What had happened? To use the 5 senses to create atmosphere. So one day it so happened that the rabbit saw a snake. कुछ देखा है, कुछ सुना है, तो कुछ feel किया है. So you include the 5 senses to create atmosphere. And then you will include action. Like the rabbit saw the snake and it ran from there. And while he was running, he came across the turtle. क्या? What was the character? Turtle, no? हाँ तो हम तो snake डाल दिए तुम्हारे character में. The rabbit, the snake, the snake and the turtle. Anyway, whatever it is. So you include, then you will include the 5 senses. वो क्या देखा, वो क्या हुआ, क्या feel किया, क्या समझा. And then you include action. उसके बाद, what was the action? And then you will include the dialogues. You will include adjectives to describe. Describe करेंगे आप. Describe the setting. So describe the setting. Whatever happened. And the ending, there will be before the ending, there will be some problems. Use 5 senses to create atmosphere, included action. So I've also introduced a problem or event. तो middle part में event में description भी हो जाता है, using 5 senses भी हो जाता है, और you will float a problem कि ये problem हुआ, सब कुछ सही चल रहा था, but one day it so happened that the rabbit came across something, and then तभी तो story बनती है ना, कुछ happening होता तभी story बनती है. And then you will introduce an action, and then you will introduce the problem. The ending is किसी तरह से इस problem को solve करना है, so that everything is sorted out. Problem को problem नहीं रहने देना है, story में problem को solutions भी आपको ढूंढना है. So introduce the problem, and finally the solution. This page is creating something. Ending. So you try to solve the problem. Middle part में you have introduced, you have encountered a problem. और फिर ending क्या होता है? The solution of resolving the problem, the solution of the problem, and then you have used powerful verbs. जैसे फिल्म में क्या देखते हो? सबसे लास्ट में क्या होता है? Powerful scenes होता है, powerful verbs होता है, powerful action होता है, जिसमें you will see that the problem is being solved. या तो विलेन की मार पिटाई होती है, whatever happens, there are some powerful action shots वो आपको create करना है in your writing using powerful verbs and adjectives. And यहाँ पर आपको include कर देना है dialogues. Who said what? So this is it. इतना ही करना है. Edit before you sign off, you edit. Check your spellings and punctuations. You can use a thesaurus to find synonyms, जो कि वहां पर एग्जाम में मत खोजने लग जाइएगा. You should already have, you can update your vocabulary. Start writing short stories, paragraphs writing. And I have checked my story makes sense. और उटपटांग की कोई story नहीं होनी चाहिए. It should have something in the story, and it should make sense. Your story should not be nonsense. Did you understand? So these are the checklist of writing a story. It is very simple. अगर कोई आप कहानी बताने चाहते हैं, why young children are very much interested in listening to stories. आप याद कीजिए, lot of people are very good storytellers. आप अगर बचपन की याद करेंगे तो आप भी सुने होंगे कहानी अपने पेरेंट्स से, अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से. तो वो कैसे क्रिएट करते थे? दे क्रिएटेड एन एटमॉस्फेयर. दे गिव यू द टॉपिक ऑफ द स्टोरी एंड देन दे यूज्ड टू क्रिएट एन एटमॉस्फेयर. क्या हुआ था? देन देयर वर सम कैरेक्टर्स and there were some problems. So क्या हुआ था? And then the problem was solved and everything was packed up or wrapped up in a beautiful story. So this is a story. Any questions? So narrative writing tells a story, real or fictional. Your story which you will be writing in your exam, if it comes, it can be a real story. It can be something, an anecdote which really happened in your life. In your life, in somebody else's life. Every person is a story in itself, in himself or herself. We all have our own stories. Some interesting, some not so interesting. So story can be real, story can be fictional. It means something you have made up, imaginary. Whether or not the events described really happened or not, this does not matter. What matters is that you are putting that incident, you're creating a story by including something interesting. The story in a way that the readers will enjoy and understand. Now you have to write in such a way that the reader takes interest in reading your story. Otherwise, your story will not be read. Here we are talking about your entire writing skills. The events don't have to happen in a chronological order. आप कहीं से भी शुरू कर सकते हैं. You can start with a dialogue. You can start with something happening. Right? The events don't have to happen in a chronological way. It means you can start from anywhere. But they must capture and hold the reader's attention. So in whatever you do, aapka story, it should attract the reader's attention. अब एक मुल्का आनंद की कहानी है. So there's a very beautiful story of Mulka Anand, the parrot in the cage. Now, what is this story all about? The story starts with the parrot speaking in inverted commas. The story starts with Ni Rukmini. मतलब सुनो रुक्मिनी तुम कहाँ हो. So the title of the story is Parrot in the Cage. And the story starts with the parrot speaking. Ni Rukmini tu kitte. You will not know who is Rukmini. Open ही करता है dialogue in inverted commas. Dialogues. That makes the reader even more interested. Now, who is this Rukmini and who is the person talking? And then you go on reading. So every sentence, every word should create that curiosity in your mind that yes, this is the story I would like to read. And then there were descriptions and characters, the setting, the environment, it was all set. So it was not in chronological order. Like one day it so happened 20 years back, 50 years back, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था. There was no introduction. There was nothing. The story started with inverted commas. Me Rukmini. This is in PPU second year syllabus. Sometimes they start with just the name of the character. Like there was another story, The Gift of Magi. But the story, the writer, O. Henry. O. Henry is a foreign writer. He's an American writer. And
the story name, The Gift of
Mulk Rajanand was an Indian writer, but studied in London. So his stories were fictional. I mean, based on fact, the characters' names were changed, but the characters were real.
And what is the story name of O. Henry? The Gift of
The Gift of Magi.
Magi.
Magi. The Gift of Magi. The story starts with Della counts the money the third time. मतलब 2 बार पहले count कर चुकी है. The story starts with the sentence. Della counts the money for the third time, and the amount was the same. And the amount was the same. कौन काउंट कर रहा है, किसके लिए काउंट कर रहा है, वो सब बाद में आता है. But look at how the authors have, the renowned authors, these are the authors of repute. They have matchless writings. So chronological order में कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि एक दिन एक young wife, the couple was very poor. कुछ नहीं वो सब लिखा हुआ है. It starts with she counts the money for the third time and slumped on the sofa. The very sentence shows that the depression, the sadness, or whatever. So the scene already is created in the first sentence. So this is storytelling and this is story writing. And what is story writing? When you give presentations on, when you made a presentation on Rahul Bajaj and Narayan Murthy and Subhash Chandra, what you all were doing. You were only reading from the text, reading from the PPT. And PPT are supposed to be pictorial, nothing written. Write a few sentences in bullets, bulleted points, and then start speaking. But what you all did? So much of content. And people were reading out from the content. Very few came up with the story of Rahul Bajaj. You could have made that. Oh yes, you can also write the story of Rahul Bajaj. You know the story. You know how it all happened. You know everything. You have read it. You have learned it. You have presented it. Make it concise. Write the story.
Ma'am, what can we do to be best in creative writing or story writing?
Yes, what?
What can we do to be best in creative writing style or story writing?
Story writing is creative writing. Story writing is creative writing.
What can we do to be best in it?
When you're writing a story, usually you need to include the descriptive style of writing, right? For story writing, the best style is narrative and combined with descriptive style. Description style, you need to describe things. Let me come back to you. Let me take the story of Rahul Bajaj or Narayan Murthy or Subhash Chandra. All of you came up with different stories. किसी एक का दूसरे से नहीं मिलता था, except for the content. The data was the same, but then the style was different. हर किसी का speaking style distinctly different होता है. Even if you are presenting the same story, If there are 100 students in the class, I will get to know 100 kinds of stories. Same story, but differently told, right? So, आपको in first sem में AKU first sem narrative style, अगर exam में आया है कि narrative style of writing, what are the styles of writing, and write a story, you will definitely choose the narrative style, जिसमें आपको plot होना चाहिए, theme होना चाहिए, characters होना चाहिए, beginning होना चाहिए, middle होना चाहिए, end होना चाहिए, problem होना चाहिए, solutions होना चाहिए, dialogues होना चाहिए. This is what makes a story. So think about the stories which you have read in your stories in your life. If you have seen movies, if you have read any books which has interested you, go ahead, write it. And one thing more, AKU first sem and second sem का भी questions आ जाता है first sem में. Let me tell you in a very straightforward way. उस दिन भी आपने देखा था second semester का idioms and phrases भी आ गया था कि नहीं? Like cool as a cucumber, at a drop of a hat. So these are idioms. If a person is cool as a cucumber, it means the person is very cool, calm and collected. And if something happens at a drop of a hat, it means something happens instantly. The doctor came at the drop of a hat. It means he came immediately. So I think you have to take care of your idioms and phrases, take care of your one-word substitutes. Do you have the question paper of last year? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. We all have.
You all have. Then you share the screen. Share. Take care of your confusing words also.
Anand, are you sharing the screen?
No, Joel, there are not a lot of questions in my mobile, so you can start sharing from your mobile. I have in my system, so I can't share. You start sharing, please.
When I have my laptop, which it's not here, but I have it in my laptop. Is anybody sharing?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. It's a 2019 paper.
Choose the correct arrangement from the following. Okay.
Ma'am, I think it was already done.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going with 2017 paper.
क्या हुआ? Can't find.
Yes, ma'am. It's a 2017 paper. My screen is visible. Anand, please confirm.
Yes, yes, it is.
अब देखो, give one word substitute. ठीक है, ये one word substitute ये सेकेंड सेमेस्टर में आता है, लेकिन ये आपके एग्जाम में आ गया फर्स्ट सेम में. So what is one word substitute for that through which light cannot pass?
Opaque.
ठीक है?
Opaque or stone.
Stone? No.
Opaque.
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 What is this spelling?
OPAQUE.
कौन बोल रहा है भाई? तो हम बताएं.
मैम OPAQUE.
ठीक है.
Opaque.
That through which light cannot pass. The one word substitute is opaque. Now find out what is the government by the mob.
Democracy.
No ma'am,
By the mob.
Usual democracy तो कभी नहीं.
-20 को ढूंढा ना.
मैंने डेमोक्रेसी नहीं बोला मैम.
मैम
I am ma'am.
Oclero.
I said.
एक ही क्वेश्चन हो गया, अब इसको सॉल्व करो.
Somebody off your mic.
बता दिए थे. उसमें क्या बताया था? उसमें क्या बताया था?
माइक ऑफ कर.
किसी को पढ़ा रही लगता है. Find out a government by the mob.
Oclero ma'am.
Oclocracy.
Ma'am, what is the difference between a government by the mob or the people? Mob
By
means
the
people.
By the people is a democracy.
Here is also by the mob. Mob
No.
stands for people.
What is the
Mob.
difference between people and mob?
Ma'am, people includes all the people. Main difference, ma'am, mob will be considered as the group of people.
Crowd.
यस मैम. इस मॉब में मैम डेफिनेट नंबर ऑफ पीपल होंगे. मतलब उसमें जैसे इंडिया की अगर पॉपुलेशन 130 करोड़ है, तो एक अगर गवर्नमेंट बाय मॉब की बात करें तो कुछ लाख या फिर कुछ हजार पीपल जो है जो रूल करे तो उसको गवर्नमेंट बाय मॉब कहेंगे. और गवर्नमेंट बाय पीपल का मतलब हो गया जितने लोग हैं वो डेमोक्रेसी हो जाएगा.
Then ma'am, can East India Company be its example?
सबसे पहली बात है कि मॉब का पहले मतलब क्या होता है?
Crowd.
Ma'am, crowd.
Group of people.
भीड़.
भीड़.
आपने सुना होगा मॉब लिंचिंग.
Yes ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
सुना है ना?
2019 में ये कुछ ज्यादा पॉपुलर था.
हाँ.
Yes ma'am.
तो गवर्नमेंट बाय द मॉब. ओके.
भीड़ के द्वारा फैसला.
हाँ, वो सही फैसला बिल्कुल नहीं होता है. What is the
Inhuman
term?
practice.
What is the term? बताइए टर्म क्या है? OCHLOCRACY. Oclocracy.
Once again, ma'am.
OCHRLOCRACY. Oclocracy.
Oclocracy.
Government by the mob. Okay. Rule by the church.
Aristocracy.
No. Rule by the
Theocracy.
rule by the church. अभी तक क्या कर रहे थे? Why didn't you find out these words? It is called theocratic rule.
Yes,
THEO, THEO,
CRACY.
theocratic. 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 Theocratic rule. THEOCRATIC. Theocratic. A soldier who kills for money.
Betray.
किसका आंसर है ये? A soldier who kills for money.
Ma'am, mercenaries. I think.
Every soldier kills for money, ma'am, as I can say. Soldier
Okay.
hai
What is one
So
word
depends.
substitute for a soldier?
A soldier can kill anybody to defend his country.
Betrayed नहीं होगा मैम.
Ma'am,
Betray
mercenaries.
means
Who
धोखेबाज.
kills for money. पता लगाओ.
Contractor. Serial killer.
Contractor.
Ma'am, mercenaries.
A soldier who kills for money. Find out. Mercenary. ठीक है. MERCENARY. 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 A soldier who kills for money. Actually, what happens? This is all given in the second semester, but this AKU, I don't know. This is weird. Like giving second semester questions in first semester, and this is very difficult. One word substitute. We have given you 100 one word substitutes in your manual, but then you have to go through a lot of words. What is the position for which no money is paid?
Honorary.
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 Honorary नहीं honorary.
Spelling बताओ. Spelling बाकी लोगों को बताओ.
HONORARY.
NARARY.
वो पैसे नहीं
Why?
लेता. He works honorary post है. मतलब कि उसको he does not demand money. One who works for free.
Volunteer.
Both the answers will be the same.
Okay, ma'am. Honorary.
Volunteer.
One who donates his wealth for the well-being of society.
Philanthropist.
Generous भी कर सकते.
Philanthropist.
सुनो ये गोल डिब्बा नहीं है. There has got to be some relevance. One who a person 1 minute who donates his wealth for the well-being of the society.
Philanthropist, ma'am.
Philanthropist is the lover of mankind.
Yes, तो मैम generous नहीं होगा.
Ma'am, the philanthropist loves humankind by donating his wealth.
The lover of mankind, that is known as philanthropist.
So it is a person who donates his wealth for charity or for the welfare of when you see sentences like these, और तो है ही है, philanthropist है, a person donates his wealth for the well-being of the society. He has to love the human race or the mankind, right? ठीक है, philanthropist तो लिख ही सकते हैं आप. A general pardon given to offenders.
Pardon.
Relief.
General pardon given to offenders.
Ma'am, amnesty.
What is the meaning of pardon?
Pardon मतलब
तो
क्षमा करना.
क्षमा कर.
To ask for his forgiveness.
What is the word? A-M-N-E-S-T-Y. Amnesty.
ESTY, yeah.
Amnesty.
AMNES.
A-M-N-E-S-T-Y. General pardon for offenders. Amnesty.
Amnesty.
A-M-N-E-S-T-Y. Amnesty.
Amnesty ma'am or amnesty? Pronunciation दिक्कत हो रहा है.
A-M-N-E-S. Amnesty. Okay, a cure for all disease.
Ma'am, death.
A cure for all disease.
Exercise.
Oh, come on, yeah.
Ma'am, death.
Exercise can remove
Yeah.
all diseases.
Panacea, yes ma'am.
Panacea
P-A-N-A-C-E.
is a cure for all kind of disease. P-A-N-A-C-E-A.
Yeah.
What does it mean, ma'am?
देखिए ना सेकंड सेमेस्टर का सारा क्वेश्चन उठा के दिया फर्स्ट सेम बच्चे इतना परेशान होकर के आते एग्जाम में करके ना व्हाट मैम बैरियर्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन प्रोसेस ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन सब सेकंड सेमेस्टर में इज ऑल बच्चे तो घबराएगा ही a cure for all disease panacea all right उज्जवल बताएगा ये a person in charge of a museum
मुल्ला.
मैम मेरा कोर्स सेकंड सेमेस्टर का होगा
बोला ना पढ़ खाओगे तुम अभी हमसे a person मौलाना लिखो a person in charge of a museum तुम मॉस्क समझ लिए थे
Oh, okay, sorry. I read it like as a mosque. Sorry.
Collector, ma'am.
what
Collector.
Collector.
collector
Collector.
spelling
C-U-R-A-L-O-T-O.
a person in charge of a museum
Should I say museum director, ma'am? In another means?
no
Museum is not a film.
No. It doesn't mean if college director, then our director is our film director. Then you want to say this?
हो सकता है
Yeah, they direct real film.
curator
Director stands for
CU
chairperson.
okay a person who takes care नहीं कोई बता पा रहा विजुअल नहीं बता पा रहा curators मैनेजर नहीं CURATORS curators CURATORS
Curator.
Change your slide, Ujjwal. Right side. Right shift.
चलिए अभी हम नहीं बताने वाले answer any three of the following discuss the structure and the layout of a business letter ये तो कर ही लेंगे आप
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है now answer this what is communication discuss communication process out of syllabus anyways what is the process of communication
Sender, receiver, verbal.
Encoding, decoding, sender, receiver.
ठीक है very good so what is communication anyways define the term communication
The exchange of ideas and feelings.
of information.
The exchange
how
of
many people are
ideas.
talking at the
Can
same
be
time
gesture, posture.
One by one. Wait.
कितना लोग एक साथ बोल रहा है भाई?
अमित माइक चेक.
Control, Amit, control.
Why so much of ruckus going on in the class? अगली बार से रिविजन क्लास बंद कर रहा हूँ. And we are going to take care of communication first. क्या होने वाला है? I'm not even discussing anything about that. चलिए. So what is communication? Exchange of ideas
and feelings.
words, information from one place to another, from one person to another is called the communication. Discuss the communication process. The communication process starts with ideation. Ideation, encoding, decoding, encoding, channel, decoding, feedback. And there can be noise as a barrier. ठीक है? Differentiate between a notice and a memorandum. हाँ ये तो पता है की बात. चलिए पता ही है. What is the difference between a notice and a memorandum?
Memorandum is your thought
सब
message.
चुप हो गए. हाँ?
Memorandum is just for
It is a
just like a
thought
memo to remind, and
हाँ,
notice for
and notice also to remind
group
also,
of people. No, notice is
What,
for
what?
ma'am group of people.
Ma'am, notice
It
can
is
be
for group
can
of
be
for
anything.
group of people,
जैसे
and
भैया ये
memorandum can be
चार
individual.
for 4 marks you have to write at least a paragraph. Like a notice is always put on the notice board. There are two types of notices: internal notice, which is served on the notice board, and the external notice, which can come from banks, anywhere. It is served in a
Court.
envelope letter, and the other notice
Court,
is
Patna.
put up on the notice board. Memorandum, अब आपको what is a memo बताना पड़ेगा. What is a memo? And memos can be a downward or horizontal. So it is a reminder, and it is served within the organization, internal office communication, right? Now for 4 marks, you have to write at least a paragraph. जल्दी से देख लीजिएगा कि what is a notice, क्या क्या लिखना है, कितने तरह का notice होता है, what are the types of notice, and कहाँ serve होता है. It can be served for notice is for one and all, whereas a memorandum can be served for all the persons in the group or a specific group or just one person. It can be done in a group, it can be done individually also.
Ma'am, notice is it flows in only vertical direction now.
Yeah. Differentiate between resume, biodata, and curriculum writing. अरे ये तो बताए थे आपको.
Yes.
Yes ma'am, क्या? चलो बताओ वापस. How is the resume different from biodata and curriculum writing?
ma'am, resume will be used in the
एक मिनट.
formal organization.
एक मिनट. The word is resume.
Resume.
No.
Resume.
Resume.
Used by beginners for applying for a job.
Freshers will give their resume. It is different from biodata because it serves the technical details, academic details of a person, whereas the biodata serves the biological details of a person, which is used when a resume is used for jobs. Biodata is used for marriage proposals, right? And curriculum vitae is different from biodata and resume in more ways than one. It is an it is an add-on of resume, and where resume is made for by just one writing in it should be compiled in one page. The curriculum vitae, because it is for people who have experience, so it can have multiple pages wherein it is their entire course of life, whatever they have done in their life, whatever their qualifications, their experiences, the different companies they have worked for, the details is there. So that is why it can have multiple pages. So these answers can be written in a paragraph or two because it carries 4 marks. So accordingly, the same sentence, the same question was given in your classroom, the difference between biodata, resume, and a curriculum writing. What is a technical proposal? Come on, tell me what is a technical proposal. जितने भी लास्ट लेसन्स पढ़ाए गए हैं वो सब सारे के सारे क्वेश्चंस इसमें हम देख रहे हैं.
मैम ये सब एग्जाम में भी आएगा राहुल बजाज पे नोट्स लिखने के लिए.
तो कब का देख रहे हो तुम? ये आया है ना इसमें. तो तुम क्या समझ रहे थे? तुमको ऐसे ही पढ़ाया जा रहा है? तुमको टहला रहे हैं हम? अब ये सब क्वेश्चंस है. देखिए 3 questions, 12 marks each. What is report? Discuss on different types of reports. Write an essay on cell phones should be banned in colleges, right? Not exceeding 250 words. There is a vacancy for the post of junior executive in IT company. Draft your resume along with a cover letter for the post. I think I've already given you how to write a cover letter. And write a brief note on the growth of Mr. Rahul Bajaj as successful businessman of India. What traits would you like to inculcate in yourself after reading about M. Narayana Murthy? It means ये भी क्वेश्चन मैंने पूछा था. What is your takeaway from the story of M. Narayana Murthy?
Yes, ma'am. ये question
क्लास
आपने
आपने
पूछा
किया
था
होगा
बहुत
तो
बार.
ये सब कुछ नहीं. These questions are very easy to handle.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yeah.
You didn't given any feedback about the resume which I have mailed you.
हाँ, तुम एक काम करना. You send it again.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
And you know, in first semester, a lot of things are already discussed. So the second semester will be quite easy for you, except for the vocabulary part. The one-word substitute, the idioms and phrases, the confusing words, the idiomatic expressions, confusing words, one-word substitute. Chapter 1, unit 1, 2, 3, 4, तो बस vocabulary ही है आपका. Lot of learning. But anyways, the worst part is over. The first semester is quite difficult because you come to know something which you have never heard of before. Memo क्या होता है, memorandum क्या होता है, agenda क्या होता है, इसे आप पहले नहीं जानते थे. But when you enter the first semester, there are a lot of things already answered, a lot of light already thrown on what is business communication. The second semester course is quite easy. और second semester में आपको एक novel भी है, Who Moved My Cheese. The novel part will be taken up by Podar sir, and बाकी the rest as it is, Sanjana ma'am.
And when our second semester will start, ma'am?
अगले साल.
नहीं.
First sem examination.
No. You all will be called back for communication test. So I have still not discussed today. I will do that in the next class. Chalo, that's it for today.
About 2017 question.
Thank you, ma'am.